Hi everyone, my name's Darren and we're here to talk about Samsung Electronics. Samsung Electronics was established in 1938 to sell groceries. They then tried their hand at a few other industries such as insurance and other retails, but finally settled in electronics in 1969. Samsung today is over 70 countries and 300,000 employees with over 200 suppliers. It's responsible for 15% of South Korea's GDP and are listed on 4 different stock exchanges around the world. Even though they are known for a number of different electronic devices, they hold almost 22% of the mobile market in the world. Over the years, Samsung has changed and increased in the number of different electronic devices with its production of color TVs in the 70s and personal computers in the early 80s. But they really started to hit their stride in 2009, where they began to snatch up competitors and begin to release the Galaxy Mobile series. They lead the way in the units of color TVs sold, led the adoption of 5G on the devices, and started to enter the AI market more recently. We were given the case study called Samsung Electronics Co. Limited in Vietnam, meeting the challenges of the future. As part of this, we completed several analyses to support our understanding of the environment. First up, we have the pestle analysis, which looks at a few categories and how external environments will affect Samsung. It has a lot of information, but I'll only touch on the most notable ones in each section. In the political environment, trade tensions between the US and China are notable and could cause issues to the supply chain and Samsung. As Samsung is 15% of South Korea's GDP, it is important to understand the pressure, but also the economic issues that might come to the company due to this. In the social landscape, Vietnam offers a lower cost workforce, which could support Samsung in reducing cost and increasing profit. As Samsung is a major player in 5G, it supported Vietnam with the uptake of this product, which interestingly only Vietnam finished its rollout of 4G recently. Vietnam does have a lot of advantages, but the legal system seems to be a bit immature in its intellectual property rights, as they are not as strong as in other countries. Finally, the entrance of Samsung into Vietnam's environment has caused increase in pollution due to manufacturing. Up next, we have the industry analysis through the lens of Porter's 5 forces. This allows us to understand how competitive the company is within the market. The threat of new entrants is deemed as low due to the cost of entry and already established market share of the major players such as Apple and Huawei. The buyer's power is deemed to be high due to the range of similar products in the market, as Samsung's has high-end product and lower price items are around, giving choice to the buyers. The threat of substitution is high for similar reasons as buyers. The market has a number of similar products as Samsung's, and they tend to use other companies' operating systems, such as Android, which means you can get a very similar product in the market. Due to the size of Samsung's supplier's power, the supplier's power is deemed as low, as several suppliers would be willing to discount prices due to the quantity that Samsung would purchase. Lastly, intensity of rivalry is deemed as high. Samsung is competing with a number of high-end products in all markets, such as Sony in TVs, Apple in mobile, and Westinghouse in white goods. Now I'll throw it over to Brett to continue the industry analysis.
Hey, thanks, Darren. That pestle analysis was hotter than a Galaxy 7 on a flight to Bangkok. From an industry competition perspective, the introduction of smartphone and associated technologies saw a distinct market shift. Established players like Nokia struggled to find their place in the market. We saw the rise and fall of BlackBerry, and of course, the rise and rise of the iPhone. Samsung positioned themselves as the high-quality, highly trusted and fashion-forward alternative to the iPhone and #1 choice using the Android platform. In a highly competitive marketplace, the setbacks experienced by the brand with the battery and screens issues have eroded some of that brand value. However, Samsung continues to hold an impressive place within the market. For a business that's started selling groceries and is as diversified as building cargo ships, Samsung has had some significant strategy decisions over its time. However, the key focus for us was the choice to pursue growth through the technological manufacturing and development that originated in the 1990s restructure. This decision has seen Samsung Electronics Group return significant value to its stakeholders and open up other opportunities for continued growth. One such decision was the expansion/relocation of a large portion of their design and manufacturing capacity to Vietnam. injecting $17 billion into the local economy. Now 35% of Samsung's employees and 40% of its products originate from its Vietnamese manufacturing operations. Some commentators see this as a safe choice, taking advantage of Vietnam's emerging economy status, while the communist system, combined with favourable trade arrangements with the West, see it well positioned into the future. Beyond traditional stakeholders, the size of the Samsung Electronics incorporates many larger stakeholder groups, including governments. With 6 production facilities and 4 R&D facilities, Samsung is a massive employer in the South Korean marketplace and, as Darren pointed out, accounts for 15% of GDP. While it's growing its relationship with Vietnam, it is now Vietnam's largest company, injecting over $17 billion US into the local economy. Vietnam is now South Korea's 4th largest trading partner, and their relationship will continue to grow as the government looks to expand its infrastructure and partner to roll out the 5G network and the associated infrastructure. I'll throw over to Bernie now to talk about the financials.
Thanks, Brad. So I'm going to talk about the financial ratio analysis. So the most profitable product line is the information technology and mobile communications, which include the semiconductor and display panels. And we also can notice that there is a slight drop within the consumer electronics in 2017 and 2018 due to the failure of the quality of its batteries and the foldable screen in the Note series. And there is a significant increase in 2019 in the Harman lines, which is about double its operating profits from 2018. So I'll be talking about internal analysis now. So Samsung is one of the top electronic brands in the smartphone industry. It has high input in the marketing and, for example, the Galaxies and the Note series. So it has around 310,000 employees across 74 countries, which Samsung is also focusing on addressing social and environmental issues. Samsung Electronics have invested heavily in the production facility in Vietnam, and Samsung have put their R&D centers in Vietnam too. So, however, the recent technical problem with the foldable device have caused significant damage to its brand image, but it's still committing substantial foreign direct investment, which is around $17 billion across the past few years. Next, thanks. So I'll be talking about software analysis now. The strength of Samsung's are its resources and its structures. So the company portfolio contribute 15% of South Korea GDP, which is quite a high number in South Korea. And the diversity manufacturing are based across China, South Korea, and Southeast Asia. Whereas the weaknesses of Samsung is that Samsung is highly depending on Android for operating system, and the quality failure on battery and portable screen have caused significantly damage to its brands. And the opportunity for Samsung in the market is that it has a long-term Vietnam government support, and the device century, whereas the and also the current device-centric business growth across the globe. Whereas the threats for Samsung are its high competition within the mobile phone markets and the potential technical threats from China due to withdrawal of production sites. I will hand it to Rebecca.
Thanks for that, Bernie. You can see there's been quite a lot of analysis done on Samsung and this particular case and potential expansion in Vietnam. So to bring it all together and critique the overall strategy, Samsung's basic objective is around differentiation. So striving for that technological leadership. They've got ambitious sales targets. They wanted to sell 6 million Galaxy Folds last year. Not sure they reached that in terms of with the COVID factor, but they're always aiming to be that market leader from a global standpoint. In terms of moving to Vietnam, they're already there operationally, but in terms of expansion, it would decentralize their risk profile. It would diversify their production capability and take advantage of the benefits of being in Vietnam. So there's lower costs of labour, closer to the Chinese border, and they would be able to take advantage of some of those agreements and policies from a government perspective. The future strategy, so if we look at their philosophy to date, nothing really changes there. After our critique of all of the work that the guys have done in our presentation, you can see that they are on a good growth trajectory, and our advice would be to keep going in the same direction, and they can just tweak their operations and try to mitigate any of the issues with their products, so improve the quality. They've obviously faced issues with the battery and then the foldable flip phone screen, so they need to probably focus more on R&D and the design, and even though they need to get speed to market in the technological space, they also need to make sure it's quality, and that will mitigate any impact on their brand image. They acquired a company called Harman a few years ago that they could potentially optimize that business. So they'll be up against competitors like Alexa, and they could go in and actually leverage that product and improve it and make it more of a profitable business unit. And there's also opportunity to be more regionally selective around their products and meet market demands in specific segments. So to bring that together into our key recommendations, the first one would be to continue to expand the operations in Vietnam, and they've got a proposed manufacturing plant in the north. We recommend that they go ahead with that. That reduces the cost of operations. There's an emerging and existing talent base in Vietnam, and it will unlock the supplier to China and keep that relationship solid.
Thanks, Rebecca. I think they should also continue to support the rollout of 5G in Vietnam. Obviously, there's some significant government support to leverage, whilst also gaining experience and capacity and further diversifying their structure, enabling them to gain experience, I guess, rolling out a telecommunications platform. And you spoke about the North Vietnam base, so using that as a base to roll out 5G into Vietnam.
So given the history of Samsung's electronic previous public relationship disaster, how can the company avoid any future scandal with the technology? Is one of the biggest points that we need to focus in the company. So what our recommendation is to refocus on quality assurance and R&D capability to gain a large share of the global technology telecommunication infrastructure markets back to their hand. So what they can do is the design, R&D, and quality are high priority to avoid brand damage in future when releasing new products.
Thanks for listening to our presentation. We look forward to catching up at the webinar and fielding any questions that we have on Samsung. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sam.